Today I have 3 products designed to give your paint a little bit of protection, a little bit of enhancement on your gloss and shine perhaps. But what if someone comes along in your comments section and says, what if you decided to mix them? Could you make a super product out of them? Well, that's exactly what we're going to be trying today, mixing up these 3 products slightly differently to see how they behave. So somebody mentioned in the comments of one of these videos, I can't remember which one, but it's something which has never left me. They said, can you mix these 2 together to create a super product? Well, that was something I was willing to try out. Then I talked about this in a live stream on Instagram, and Michael from Infinity Wax came along and he spotted that I was talking about this, and he said, try it with our rapid detailer as well and see how you get on. So that's exactly what I did. Put those down there. Today I want to actually show the differences and properly put them all side by side for a test. So in this one is the mixture of BSD and the Turtle Wax Sealant, and in this one, as you can tell by the darker colour, is the Turtle Wax Sealant and the Infinity Wax Rapid Detailer. I did not go as far as to mix all 3 products because I think that's just going a little bit too far, but I wanted to try these and see how well they worked. As you can see here, this one with the BSD, it's still relatively thick in the bottle. You can see it clinging there. The Infinity Wax is a little bit clingy too, even though there's no BSD in there. But if you compare that to how the Infinity Wax Rapid Detailer looks in its own bottle, and it doesn't cling as much, but here it clings more. Very interesting. The bottles are almost identical. In fact, they may well be identical, I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, that's besides the point. So, there's some extra thickness that's been added to this. Interesting. What I'm hoping from these is that I want the one with BSD to be a little bit smoother, slicker, easier to apply. Because the BSD itself, like I said, it's a little bit on the sticky side, and I want it to just go on that little bit nicer. So I'm hoping by diluting it with the Turtle Wax Sealant, that will help to spread it. I also noted that when I was using BSD, the slickness on the paint is not as good as some other products. That's probably why it beads so well, is because whatever the formulation is great at beading, but not so nice with slickness. So I'm hoping that this would do a bit of both. Ease the application and be slicker on the paint. And then with the Turtle Wax and the Infinity Wax Rapid Detailer there, just for a bit of fun really, just to find out if it's possible to mix that, because the Infinity Wax Rapid Detailer gives lovely shine and gloss. It's a really, really effective product with really nice slickness, and yet mixing it with the Turtle Wax, what am I trying to achieve? The Infinity Wax is a detailing spray, so it's just something for short-term protection. Perhaps I'll get better, more resilient protection from the sealant within this. Or perhaps it'll be worse. I'm not entirely sure. That's the fun of trying this out. Anyway, enough jibber-jabber. Let's get out to the car and give it a try. Alright, so here's the bonnet, separated into 5 separate sections. And this bonnet has been washed. It's been fully decontaminated. It's been polished. And now it is separated, so we're ready to go. The first of the 5 contenders today is the Sonax BSD. So first thing to do, give it a really good shake. As you can see, this is a much thicker product than all the rest there, clinging to the bottle, but give it a really good shake. Now it's quite windy today, so rather than spraying onto the panel, I'm going to spray directly onto a microfiber. I've got 5 brand new Kirkland microfibers here because I love them, because they're cheap and they're solid, and yeah, I just like them. So what I'm going to do is give this maybe 2 squirts. Because I'm spraying it directly onto the microfiber, it's going to get 2 squirts on here rather than maybe 1 on the panel. That's just to allow for anything that's been lost into the towel. So I'm actually going to have to spray it off camera because I don't want to spray here in case it goes on anywhere else that it shouldn't be. So make sure it works. And 1, 2. 2 sprays wet in the middle there. And then we'll just wipe this over. And it spreads relatively well. If you use too much of this, you can feel it slightly sticky there. But if you use too much, it feels even stickier. So just giving it a good application, not too thick, not too thin. Make sure it goes everywhere. And then flip the towel to the dry side and give it a buff. And you'll feel it. If you've used this before, you'll know that there's that slightly grabbiness to it. It's ever so slightly grabby. Doesn't feel super slick, but it's done. That's it. Alright, next product. So the second detailing spray of the day is the Infinity Wax Rapid Detailer. You can see here it's not as thick as BSD. It does cling to the bottle a little bit, but it's not super thick. It's certainly runnier. So again, make sure it works. It's a really finely misted nozzle on this one. So again, 2 squirts on the microfiber just off here. 1, 2, and you'll be able to see it there. You can see the color change. It looks green now because that's blue and that's yellow. Primary colors, people. Are they primary? They might not be primary colors. Colors, people. Right, let's just spread this around. And honestly, it's actually hard to see. It may well have soaked into the microfiber because it's a very, very misted spray there. I'm not sure if that's definitely gone on as much as I would have liked it to, because like I said, normally I would spray it directly onto the paint. I wonder if I can just drip a couple of bits, just a couple of drips there, and just spread that around. I just want to make sure it gets a proper application there. I don't want it all lost in the microfiber. But the thing is, this is a no buff formula, so you know, you don't really see any kind of hanging around. It just kind of disappears into the paint. But let's just give it a fluff. Let's give it a buff. Flip of the towel and a buff, and you can feel the slickness there that wasn't there before. That's lovely and slick. Really nice. Let's just make sure that's all picked up. And just a quick, not very slick. Yeah, you can feel the difference there on the panel, just with the back of your fingers. This kind of grabs your fingers, and this one doesn't. There's a couple of drips there. I'm going to pick those up. I forgot to mention I'm using the short pile side of the microfibers on each one, just so you know if you haven't seen these before. They have a deep pile and a short pile. I'm using the short pile. Anyway, third product, not a detailing spray. This is Turtle Wax's Sealant Hydrophobic Wax. It's a hybrid of sealants and carnauba wax. So we'll see how this one goes. Again, this one is a very misted nozzle. So again, 2 sprays, and we'll just hope that it gets onto the panel. 1, 2. You can see it's barely there. Let's get it onto the panel. Yeah, you can see it a bit. You can see it a little bit. It's not super noticeable, but I can see it more than the Infinity Wax for sure. So there it goes. And again, this is one of those that just kind of flashes off as you use it, but just in case there's anything left, flip to the dry side and buff. There we go. Slickness test, not so good. That's good. That's really good, actually. That's, ooh, I've got a feeling that might just be a little bit slicker, feeling them side by side like that. That's good. That's also really good. That might just have the edge on slickness, or at least slick feel under the fingers. So the first hybrid product, the monster product, whatever you want to call these. So this one, as you can tell with the lighter color, this is the Turtle Wax Sealant mixed with the Sonax BSD. So you can see it is a little bit clingy there, just like BSD was, but it's also got the Turtle Wax Sealant. Honestly, it doesn't look that much thinner than regular BSD. Anyway, this is a nozzle with varied dispersion. dispersion. Yeah, how much you can spray it. Right, so we'll give it 2 sprays. I'll go around this side actually. I'm gonna have to be careful not to spray on the rest of them. 2 sprays there, and then we'll work this on. Yeah, it still has that kind of grabby feel of BSD. So there's that. I can certainly see it going on. It's not super thick, but it's also just a tad smoother than normal BSD. Just a tiny bit. Not much, but a little. But it's also sort of flashing away like the turtle wax does. There's only a few bits left there. Let's just give it a buff. Comes off nice and easily. Again, doesn't have the same slick feel. Let's just check normal turtle wax BSD. That feels not as grabby as the regular BSD. Has a little bit of extra slickness there. Let's just come around here. Yeah, you can definitely feel there's a difference here. Let's move on to the last one. So this is the turtle wax sealant mixed with, as you can tell, with a nice dark blue color, the Infinity Wax Rapid Detailer there. And you can see it does cling to the bottle. It is, well, I would say it actually clings to the bottle a bit more than regular Infinity Wax, but not by much. So again, same nozzle as the other one. I just need to make sure, yeah, that's not too bad. Right, let's spray it on here. You can see the green line again, and let's go for this. Again, you don't really see much of it there. You don't see much going on. I know you're supposed to have a thin application. It smells gorgeous though. I do love the smell of Rapid Detailer. It's so nice, and it really comes through when you're using it. And again, this is just flashing off. I mean, I've got nothing to buff, but let's just give it a buff anyway. There's just nothing there, nothing left at all. Alright, let's have a feel. That's not as slick. I'm going to say these two are about the same. It's not as slick as regular Rapid Detailer. Rapid Detailer is much slicker. The turtle wax is even slicker, definitely. As time has gone on, this has become more slick. Yeah. A little bit grabby. A little bit grabby. Interesting. Alright, so let's take the tape off and have a look and see if there's any difference with the looks of the paint before we go on with the water behavior test. Alright, let's go handheld for this now. And what I'll tell you straight away is there is barely any difference. I can barely see the tape lines, I'll be honest. It's not going to come across on camera, I don't think, but there is a bit of a tape line there. So that was the, what was that? That was the Infinity Wax there. So a tiny bit of a tape line. This was the turtle wax. There's a tiny bit of a tape line there. This was the BSD, but I don't see it coming down the rest of the bonnet. It only seems to be visible at the top. I don't see any tape lines here with the two monster hybrid, whatever you want to call them, Frankensteins. There's a bit more of a tape line here. It's barely visible. And that here, that's the turtle wax on this side and the hybrid with BSD and turtle wax on this side. I can see it from both sides here. I can see that there's slight darkness here and there's a paler line here, but then it kind of blends out, it fades out. So yeah, I wouldn't say that any of them are massively better at improving the look of the paint here. I mean, this is polished paint, which is about as glossy as you're going to get it, but there is a small difference here. So, and I'm seeing the line more on the right hand side. That is the side with turtle wax and BSD mixed, whereas over here it's barely, but again the BSD side here, that line is slightly more visible than the Rapid Detailer one. So again, I think BSD has it for that ever so slight amount of gloss enhancement, because I can see that line coming down here more for this side here where it was the mix of the BSD. It might have something to do with the fact that it's a thicker product. Anyway, we need to move on to the water testing now. my favorite bit. If you've watched my videos before, you know I love doing this. So let's go with a shower setting first, and let's just give it an initial rain test. We've got some light rain on the car. What does it look like? Alright, there is BSD. As you can tell, lovely, lovely beads. This is why people love this stuff, because it beads so well. It's so uniform. It really looks fantastic. Now, very obvious difference here. You can see that line there now. You see that? That's the tape line between BSD and over here this is Infinity Wax Rapid Detailer. The beads are nice and plump and juicy, but not quite as uniform. These are very uniform. Look at those. They're very, very round, and they're all about the same roundness. Here, these beads, not quite as round, but certainly nice and tall and plump. Over here, this is the turtle wax. The beads are pretty good for uniformity. There's a bit of wind going on here, sorry. But then something you will notice here, look at that. Look at how much water has been sheeted off. You know, the BSD is not bad, it's in between. The Infinity Wax is hanging on to it a bit. The Turtle Wax wants to shed it. Then over here, this is the Turtle Wax BSD blend. And you can see it's not bad at all. It's very similar to the regular Turtle Wax, and also has very similar sheeting. And then over here, this is the Turtle Wax beads mixed with the, which one was this? This was the Infinity Wax. This one is nicer beading. This one has very nice uniform beads. And again, really nice sheeting. If you look there, there's more water on this side of the bonnet than in the middle and on the right. Very interesting. Let's give that some more. Let's really give it a heavy rainfall and see what happens. How does it behave? There you go. Again, these two sides here, these two sections, they want to roll that water off, but they still want to hang on a bit, whereas these three don't. Let's switch this up to a flood. Let's see what happens here. So there is BSD, fast sheeting. Nice fast sheeting. This is the Rapid Detailer Infinity Wax. Slower sheeting, but it still comes off nice and cleanly. So it's slower at doing it, but it comes off clean. This is the Turtle Wax. This is in between the two. It's better than the Infinity Wax, and it's not as good as Sonax. Over here, that's the Turtle Wax and BSD. Pretty good. This is the Turtle Wax and Infinity Wax. Right, let's see how they go as far as drying the car with water. How much water will this leave behind when you're drying with water? Well, almost nothing over there. Same with the Turtle Wax mixed with BSD. Turtle Wax on its own. Again, barely anything at all. The Infinity Wax, it is slower sheeting and leaves just the tiniest amount as it was sheeting off. And finally, BSD, it just comes off really fast. But interestingly enough, look there, it does leave some water behind. This is to do with its slickness. It is not as slick. If you go very slow, you can still see there are a couple of little specks of water there. I know it's not so great to see on the camera here. It's hard for me to pick it up on the screen. But yeah, it just wants to hang on to some of that water, although it wants to sheet it off and bead it. When you're flooding it, it just wants to grab it a little bit more, and that's mostly to do with its lack of slickness. Now we need to check and see how these behave against a chemical attack. So just like last week's or last fortnight ago's video, I'm using Garage Therapy Zero Decon Shampoo diluted at 10:1 in this spray bottle to attack these products to find out how well they will resist it. Keep in mind, this is still stronger than your average shampoo. Regular shampoos will not attack it the same way that this is. So this is really just to give it a good punch and see how they behave. If they hold off well with this, they will hold off with your regular shampoos too. So let's give it a try, same as before. Like that. And a spray on the microfiber and wipe across that line. With barely any pressure. Alright, you can see they've all taken a hit. What's interesting though is, looking at the line that they've left, and let's just do this like that, you can see that BSD here has taken perhaps the smallest hit, and it's still sheeting away some of that water. So it's still doing a decent job there. Also, I'm seeing here the turtle wax is also fighting that a little bit. It does look here though that the rapid detailer, that is practically dead on that section. This section here, which was the combination of the turtle wax and the BSD, is fighting a little bit, not as bad. And the same with the combination of turtle wax and the rapid detailer. So let's give it another hit and see how much it takes to kill them. Yep, they're all about as dead as each other. I would say here that the BSD and the turtle wax, they have this slightly narrower section where the edges aren't quite as badly affected as something like the rapid detailer here, or the BSD and turtle wax. The one with turtle wax and rapid detailer seems to have a smaller, narrower line there, and yet the towel was worked over in exactly the same flat movement, so it was the same amount of towel was touching it. The BSD has that fighting ability, so does the turtle wax to a certain extent. So that's really interesting, and I'm not entirely sure what to take from this. I guess BSD, when you mix it with another product, it doesn't perform quite as well. The Infinity Wax, when you mix that with the turtle wax, it performs a little better. The turtle wax, when you mix that with the BSD, performs a bit worse than turtle wax on its own. The turtle wax with the rapid detailer seems to perform relatively on par with itself. So, well, this is all just very interesting. Really strange, really weird. Let's give them a quick sheet and see how they behave with that. I would say that's fairly conclusive. If you're looking for a detailing spray or some sort of protective spray that will fight off as much as possible, then out of the 3 that I've used, and including the 2 hybrids that I've made, BSD is still definitely the most resilient. Alright, so there we go, we're all done. The verdict, can I make a super product? Nope. I'm afraid not. It's not possible, but it was fun to try. It was fun to test and to mess around with them and see what works and what doesn't. So I really enjoyed that. As far as the base products, if you guys are interested in any of those products and you're looking for a recommendation on them, I cannot give you one because it is a personal preference. The BSD has the beading but no slickness. The turtle wax has slickness and beading. It's not quite as nice to use as the Infinity Wax, but it's still a really good product and it's cheap. If you want a joyous product to use, something which is just really, really nice to use and a pleasure, and you get the smell and the experience, and it's quick to use. Then get the Rapid Detailer. I'm lucky enough to own all three, so I can just pick whatever takes my mood at the time. But I'd love to know if you guys have mixed up any products before. I know some of it has come up in the previous videos talking about the Turtle Wax or the BSD, but if there's anything else you guys have tried that you think I should check out, please leave information down in the comments section below. I'd love to know what you guys think. However, if you enjoyed this video, please support the channel by smashing that like button. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and while you're there, make sure you ring the notification bell so you don't miss my next video uploads. In the meantime, I have been Specky. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.